Hi everyone, delonewolf here. Welcome back to another EVE Online video. As you can tell, this is going to be a discussion video. Lots of you guys seem to enjoy this format for discussion videos, so I think I want to try and make one a week. I'm not sure if I'll manage that, but for this week we have a very nice topic, of course, because CCP is releasing the October release for EVE Online. Not too many changes, but I thought I would take a look at them and we could talk about them just a little bit. So if you want to read up about this yourself, you can always go to eveonline.com. There you press the articles website, and the latest news article at the moment is the October release deployment information. In there you will find a link to the patch notes themselves, and if you go there you will be able to find out all the changes that are coming with this patch release. So if we move ourselves down and we actually go to the patch notes for October 2018. Let's get started. It's really not all that much, but some major balance changes are coming, of course, like ECM is getting changed substantially. There's a full dev blog on that. The main change is, of course, a jammed target may lock the source of the jam at all times. Affected sources, target jammers, so the mid slots, you've got ECM drones and ECM NPCs as well. This is something I'd personally not thought about before, but this should change at least a pirate faction substantially. When it comes to their ECM jamming, you'll be able to, I think, much more easily get rid of ECMing ships this way. So might actually be a boon for some PvE activities. Next up we have the warp disruption field generator, so they are removing the penalty to trust and removing the reduction to mass. Next up we've got the Interceptors, something that you guys probably know. The Claw, Crusader, Raptor and Tyrannis are losing the interdiction nullification. They're also reducing the agility for the Claw from 3.7 to 3.25. This actually makes it a faster aligner, so it's meant to, I think, bring the Crow in line with the other interceptors that keep nullifications, and the idea is for those to become travel scepters and scouts rather than combat ships themselves. Now, looking at the prices for interceptors at the moment, it looks like people are just going to switch to the most capable interceptor that keeps nullification, which I think is going to be something like the Ares, because that price jumped up substantially. So will this change have the impact that CCP is looking for? I personally don't think so. It does show that nullification is very difficult to balance. On top of that, Claw, Crusader, Raptor and Tyrannis are down in price substantially, so I do think that at some point CCP will have to make a move on those as well, give them some sort of extra bonus instead of the nullification interdiction, and as a result, yeah, this is something that you might be able to speculate on as well, market-wise. Of course, the Claw, Crusader, Raptor, Tyrannis have all really decreased in price. Nobody's interested in those ships anymore, but it's really not in line with any other ships because it lost such a powerful aspect to its bonuses. So I think that CCP will have to make a change to those sooner or later. And when that does happen, they might become more interesting once again. Next up we have the Damavik. So the precursor frigate loses a low slot but gains a mid slot, which should help with making it especially more viable in PvP, I think. I myself have one, but I'll need to switch it around a little bit as well because I do like the 4 low slots. So I'm not sure if this is the best solution. Maybe just adding a mid slot would have been too OP, but yeah, they're pretty expensive and unique ships as well, so I'm not sure if yeah, how to think about this. I think it changed it a little bit, but certainly doesn't make the ship more powerful in any all too meaningful way, in my opinion. Next up we've got events. These are small changes but very welcome changes. So challenge rewards can now be claimed directly from the info panel. I'm not sure if you saw my video on the latest drone event, but you always had to reopen the agency in order to claim your 10-15 points or whatever it was. Very annoying. Being able to do that just from the top left corner is going to be very, very helpful. Challenges will now list their objectives rather than the names in the info panel. Don't think that's too much of a problem, because I think you could still see like a bit of progress on the bar itself, so you always had a bit of an idea where you were going. And the sound effect, well, alright, we'll see what it is. Let's hope that it's not too annoying. Skin technology now has the ability to override the manufacturer logos on Tech 2 hulls and additional dungeon assets. Now dungeons, this is not Abyss only. CCP actually classifies all Dead Space pockets as dungeons, and so these have been upgraded to the latest shaders. Added module, very important of course, with the change to the warp disruption field generator. CCP had to do something for wormhole space that was heavily relying on that to be able to close wormholes reliably without losing pilots and ships on the wrong side. So they added the 0-point mass entangler high slot module. Can be fit to heavy interdictors only, reduces ship mass by 80%, reduces ship velocity by 95%, cannot activate micro warp drive, or anti-thrust bonus for afterburners reduced by 90%. It's really meant to be a very specific module used to collapse wormholes and be certain, or somewhat certain, that you'll have your ship on the right side when you do that final collapse. So sounds interesting. There's also maybe a blueprint that you can look for, and if you want to be amongst the first ones to bring them in. Haven't checked on CC to see what it takes to produce those. Triglavian, also a small change, but very welcome. Triglavian bioadaptification moved from large collidable structures group to a precursor cage group, so a very specific group that will only highlight the bioadaptification. I constantly had to switch. If I run any sites in Triglavian space, I have to reapply the collidable object so that I can see the cache. Just on my overview, no, it's normally there, but in space, very handy to know where your objective is. And this way it's just going to be its own tab that you can just press on and forget about it. So nice little quality of life change there as well. Next up, for Null Sec and the Titan pilots, activating a Titan Doomsday module will now prevent docking and tethering for the same 5-minute duration that currently blocks cloaking and jumping, meaning that can't just blab something and then dock back up. Titans now no longer deal AoE effect damage to nearby ships when they are destroyed. This is meant to increase performance in big fights, and I think that the impact of that AoE effect was small enough that it doesn't really matter. We've got some graphics update as well, trying to improve server performance. I'm a bit surprised, no mass test for the October release here, and then some issues get resolved as well for abyssal modules, which apparently showed green when it was actually a worse stat than before. So overall, you know, not that many changes, couple of very important balance changes, which I personally am all for. The ECM change, the Interceptor change, I'm really not sure how this is going to play out. I don't think it's going to substantially change anything, except that the claw fleets will be switched over by maybe Ares fleets or something like that from the look at Eve Talk. That looks like what it's going to be. So perhaps they'll have to do something else in order, if they want to get rid of the combat nullification fleets, or the massive fleets that are completely nullified. You know, you can already do that with Tech 3 though, so I don't see that as such a major problem. But also Claw Crusader Raptor Terran is down the drain in price, and something that CCP might need to change as well in order to make those ships more viable once again. But overall, this October release to me feels like it's another maintenance patch, and we don't see too many major changes here at this point. The reason for that, I do think, is if we go for the EVE Online updates website, right, we've got the October release where you can have a view at everything as well. But if we take a look at the next item, EVE Vegas 2018 coming on October 19th. That's also next month, and that is of course where I think that we will learn a lot about what CCP is planning with EVE Online. I'm personally also hoping for some Nova news, because I would love to see like a beta come pretty soon and know what the roadmap is looking like for Nova. And then of course, Pearl Abyss, the purchase of CCP by Pearl Abyss, will that have an impact on how things work? We don't know, but perhaps we'll have some hints at least at ETH Vegas as well. So this is definitely something that I think you want to try and follow as closely as possible, especially this year with all of these changes with the purchase of CCP by Pearl Abyss. You really don't know what to expect there. So 19 to the 21st of October, we'll have ETH Vegas. You can follow all of that, of course, on the CCP stream. And yeah, I'm hoping for some Nova news, and I'm hoping for some cool information on EVE Online. If you want some potential spoilers, maybe winter 2018-2019, what's important for me, winter expansion. So CCP should have an expansion planned. Who knows what all of that is going to bring. The Triglavian sites were definitely something that came out of complete left field, and potentially there's already some talk of PvP versions and more iteration on that. So looks pretty interesting. Definitely, curious about what the winter expansion is going to mean for EVE Online. More balanced stuff, a 64-bit client. That could be very interesting as well, especially if you, like me, you try and join these Null Sec fights in order to get cool footage. That's really not easy to do, and maybe a 64-bit client can make that even better. Then we've got the Upwell Jump Bridge, a Sino Jammer, and Sinosaural Beacon. Very interesting as well, especially I still haven't found these on CC, so I can't tell you if my PI expectations will work here as well. But yeah, something to gamble on for the market. If these require advanced PI materials to produce, then you might make some really good trades at the moment, because those goods are super low on the market. You can always follow ETH Talk if you want to know more about that. And then we have these structure skins here as well, something that I personally am looking forward to as well. I would love to find some cool skins and give them to my structures in the TAL. Settings menu overhaul, balance to the Force Auxiliary, that's coming as well. And then the activity tracker, personally I'm not sure how important that is, but yeah, more information is always welcome. So overall, again, to quickly reiterate, this release for October feels like another maintenance release with some balance changes to ECM and the interceptors that are pretty damn important. But overall, it's all going to be ETH Vegas, I think, where we'll know what to expect next in EVE Online. And that's it for this video, guys. Let me know what you want to hear about at ETH Vegas in the comments. But for now, I'll see you all next time.